Viral moments are fun, especially in sports, at least mostly. And when it comes to NASCAR going viral, recently it's become a lot of fun as a fan to see new people watch our sport, or at least part of our sport, for the first time. And while viral moments aren't necessarily the end-all be-all when it comes to growing a sport or just having people come in and watch it, it is something that needs to be taken note of. And I would say in the last 16 months, there have been 4 major viral moments that people outside of the NASCAR sphere pay attention to. The first being the Hail Melon, all the way back in 2022 at Martinsville. Garage 56 last summer, followed up by the Chicago Street Race and Shane Van Gisbergen's victory. And now, one of the closest finishes in NASCAR history with a 3/1000ths of a second margin of victory between Suarez, Blaney, and Kyle Busch. Now, virality does not mean that it's going to be a sustained long-term popularity gain. After all, the Hail Melon was thought to be one of the biggest moments in NASCAR history and basically had no impact whatsoever even the following week. And nowadays, we have much more of a viral-based culture where people will see something one day and completely forget about it and think, oh, that's cool, but nothing else much more than that. But merely the fact that you can go viral more often does lead to questioning of why, and I think part of that is the next-gen car. Now, we talk about bringing in fans or bringing at least the product to fans in person, physically, like Chicago and Los Angeles. But I do think that viral moments like this are a way that maybe unintentionally can do that digitally, bring it to fans instead of having to bring those fans to you. There are more sustainable ways of doing this, but I feel like viral moments are the dopamine rush of digital engagement and entertainment. But the next gen has, in my opinion, created, or at least been part of creating, all 4 in a way that's not just the car on track alone. Look at the Hail Melon. The Hail Melon was something that would not have been possible with the Gen 6 COT or any other real generation of car. They would have been completely totaled before they got to turn 4, and Chastain would not have gotten to the next round of the playoffs. And when you look also before when people tried it, they failed it too. The next gen and Martinsville and Chastain were the perfect storm. And Martinsville and Chastain are the pretty easy ones to see. Chastain is the Florida man of NASCAR, and Martinsville's corners have such a tight radius that it would be physically more possible. But the next-gen car has more composite body builds than any other car in NASCAR Cup Series history. It was able to flex more, able to have more give with the G's and the force against the wall, and it allowed for just enough leeway for Chastain to get through there and have it done. And in turn, we got 100 million views on different social media platforms because of this. Now, that's not it, though. The Garage 56 entry was another big viral moment that a lot of people paid attention to. And I think with the new next-gen car and the composite body that was built to it and the components that were built to it to be adjusted and changed, projects like this were more and more possible. And this car was already more designed to be better at road courses. It wasn't like they were just bringing a giant brick and driving it the way the Gen 6 or COT would be. And with that, you were able to have these changes be made and have a great showing not only for NASCAR and Hendrick Motorsports, but just for American car culture in general. And it seemed to be an incredible hit. Once more, this was a moment that had people around the world talking about NASCAR. Not just in America, though we did have a lot of patriotism brought up because of it, but people all over the world who were watching the 24-hour race were pretty impressed with it. And that's, again, credit to the next-gen car. It's not perfect, but it works. That same summer, NASCAR had their first race on the streets of Chicago. And this car, again, was meant to drive better at road courses, so of course it's going to drive better on a street course, which is just a really flat road course. And I think that the car itself did open up, because of this, more opportunities to race on streets like Chicago and put on a good show while at it. And when you look at also the result of this race being won by Shane Van Gisbergen, well, you have a story that any sports fan and any NASCAR fan probably can get behind. This was the biggest upset, or at least one of the biggest upsets in NASCAR history. And yes, this was an upset win. Someone coming from a completely different form of racing, beating the best in NASCAR with the playing field being level, that is a huge story. And basically, if any other sport had this happen, fans would not be questioning how impressive it was or going overboard or saying that, well, he should be expected to win. No, they'd say it's amazing. If LeBron James went and played quarterback in the NFL and was better than Patrick Mahomes, it'd be a huge story. Same thing with SVG. And seeing how he is not an American, it's a pretty big deal to have an international driver come in and immediately be successful. We've had successful international drivers before. Juan Pablo Montoya and Marcos Ambrose are probably two of the biggest ones people will think of right off the bat. And really the best points finish that ever happened with any of them was a qualification into the chase in 2009 for Montoya, where after 5 races, he wasn't really a factor. So this is a big deal, and the next-gen car, again, is a huge part of it. And then we get to the most recent one, and maybe this is recency bias, but the 2024 Atlanta race and finish were, I think, in large part a next-gen product as well, not just in physical form, but just in the entire lead-up. The Atlanta reconfiguration was in large part designed around the next-gen car. It came out in 2022, they were testing the next-gen on it, whether it was iRacing or whatnot, and the next-gen also has raced much better at this track than the Xfinity cars and the Craftsman trucks. Each race at this track has gotten better and better since the reconfiguration, and I think that this honestly proves that it is built for next-gen cars. I don't think that any other drafting package, Gen 6, COT, Gen 4, you name it, would put on the show that we saw yesterday as of recording this video. I don't think that they work as well, and it produced one of, honestly, a once-in-a-decade kind of finish. See, the margin of victory was 3/1000ths of a second, the third closest in NASCAR Cup Series history, and the margin of victory and the side-by-side finish like it is something, again, we only see once every maybe 10 years. The last finish like this that I can think of that went completely viral and was this close was 2011 Talladega, and before that it was 2003 at Darlington. It was a huge moment, and people need to appreciate that and need to appreciate why. The next gen is not perfect. It's awful at short tracks, and for the most part, it doesn't race very well at road courses, but it still has made some big steps for NASCAR that they can build upon. And these are the biggest and flashiest of them. So with that, I want to pass it on to you and ask, is the next gen the reason for one of or all of these major, massive viral moments, or is it all coincidental? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and until next time, have a good one.